Final hour for the week. Overdrive continues. Brought to you by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Bryan Hayesy, Doug, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles, McLennan, TSN 1050 up on TSN 2. Best Bets brought to you by FanDuel later in the hour. Dear Hayesy-B in about a half an hour. And I referenced that A-Rod comment where A-Rod might need to write into at OverDrive 1050 seeking our advice on how he can find a way to get his number retired by the Yankees. Right, because he wants his number retired, and it's
just
not
by
happening.
The Yankees, obviously not Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yes, not going in the Hall of Fame. It's a good point though. Like, and I don't know this answer, but does Seattle or Texas, like, do they care to honor Alex Rodriguez, or does it just have to be the Yankees? Probably not. And he was on, I think he was on a radio station in New York. I think it was WFAN, and he was asked about anyone reaching out to him and the idea of the Yankees honoring him. And here's what he said.
No, and look, with my job on TV, and Tiki, you know this,
Yeah.
I'm too critical to the Yankees, and that doesn't help my case. But I get paid to tell the truth, and if you guys ask me a question, I'm gonna tell you exactly as I see it, and not sugarcoat it because I want my number retired. If it's not retired, then so be it.
Yeah, so because in the media, that's why A-Rod's number isn't retired by the Yankees.
No, I think it was getting busted with steroids.
Yeah, and the fact that Yankee fans kind of hated the guy. Like, a lot of Yankee fans couldn't stand him. Well, it was Jeter, too. They loved Jeter, and he came in, and there was an issue with Jeter. Remember, he and Jeter had a real falling out.
I know, but he never made Jeter switch positions. He went to third. He kind of shut his mouth and did his thing. But he was just an unlikable guy, period. Yeah. They did win a World Series with the guy.
But some
Can't
people
take
are
that
just
away.
You're right, but some people are just unlikable. Like, they don't, they've got the way they carry themselves, whatever. And he seemed to be that guy, whether it's false or not. You might meet the guy and he might be an unbelievable person behind the scenes, but he seemed like one of those unlikable characters.
Yes, undoubtedly. And just the way he operates, his whole vibe, and yes, he's in the media, and I'm sure he is critical at times of the Yankees, and I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't ecstatic about that. But Derek Jeter's doing media stuff now. Jeter's on the Fox panel. You think the Yankees are going to rescind his retirement? If you're a great player, you're a great player, which he is, roids notwithstanding. The guy was a phenomenal player, truly one of the great players of all time, and the statistics back that up. But it's because he's A-Rod. It's because he's unlikable. It's because of all the stuff that went down, the amount of suspensions. That's just what he has to deal with the rest of his life.
Dude, that's the truth. I don't put a ton of stake into tweets, but there seems to be a tweet every second week of somebody saying A-Rod stole my girlfriend, and I have evidence of it.
There's some stuff that I've been privy to as well. That's
kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
where it's like, this guy stole my girlfriend. Look at these. And it's
Jose Canseco's got a serious issue with A-Rod. I want to say it derives from something like that. I can't remember the full details. And listen, Jose Canseco is not exactly a guy where you're like, man, that screams, consistent thought.
Dude, Jose Canseco,
a pillar of stability.
Every holiday, Jose Canseco tweets out, "Merry Christmas" to everyone except A-Rod.
He really
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone except A-Rod.
Yeah. But why is it that? Like, is it a girlfriend related type of thing?
I don't know the history, Noodles. I don't.
Something greasy happened though.
Yeah, and listen, Jose Canseco got caught up in the whole PED stuff too, right? And that might be a part of it. Remember the report that came out recently that A-Rod was snitching on different players in baseball about what they might. That was a report.
Yeah.
That, so listen, the guy's had one of the more fascinating lives and careers. There's a lot of athletes, pro athletes, that don't come off as the greatest public figures, don't have really high ratings in terms of the way people feel about them, yet they have lived truly remarkable lives and supplied just incredible content.
Yeah.
And we could run off 4, 5, 10 different athletes we could think of over the last 30 or 40 years where you're like, that, I can't believe this guy existed. Like, I can't believe this guy's life is real. And, A-Rod would be an example of that. Mike Tyson would be an example of that. And there's a number of different guys, and they're all for different reasons. I'm not painting them all with the same brush in terms of why we're maybe fascinated or captivated by it. And some of it can be very dark. But there are a lot of crazy characters over the years, man. And like A-Rod's run it's one of them. You circle, you're like, that was just a crazy ride. And he's still in our lives all the time because he's doing media and he owns teams and he's on social media and he was on Shark Tank for a while and he's still out there. All right, our best bets brought to you by FanDuel later in the hour. Dear Hayesy-B in about 25 minutes. People are constantly reaching out to me saying, Hayesy-B, I need your help when it comes to picks. You're seeing the board so well. But we think you're getting help from a robot or artificial intelligence or something. Can you throw a game to prove you're human? And I said, fine, I'll take the Saints. So I did that for everyone that was debating whether or not I'm actually still a human and I'm just seeing the board with these eyes as opposed to some sort of artificial intelligence. With that in mind, here's our TSN NFL analyst, Luke Willson. So you benefited, Luke. I had to throw a game last night just to make sure everyone thought that.
Jags, baby!
Let's go, Jags! Jags for life. Doug Peterson's my boy.
Exactly. I cannot believe, dog, that this guy had the audacity to take Derek Carr in primetime. He knows nothing about football. It's ridiculous.
It is. It was a slight.
It's a non-athletic, non-pro athlete fraud move. That pick was that.
Yeah.
Hayes & Co. is a fraud.
I can't argue against it, man. Okay, answer is this, though, Luke, because you have been in that spot. Tight end, running towards the cone.
Oh, yeah, go with this one, Partsy.
I thought it was overthrown. I think 95% on the tight end, 5% Carr, you overthrew it. Your thoughts?
No, it's 100% on the tight end.
Okay.
I told you.
Tom Brady's furious with that throw. Just stating that.
No,
Tom Brady thinks he overthrew
on that route, that's exactly where you have to throw that football. Partsy, comment.
Yeah, because here's the thing. If you watch it, he almost twisted weird. I'd rather him throw it like that so that I have time. Like, I get where you're saying overthrew it, but you can adjust while the ball's in the air and catch it in exactly where you want to. So if your guy wants to catch it far away from your body, you slow up, which is kind of what I thought Foster did. If your guy wants it really tight, you just take a little, give a little gas, and you catch it right pretty much off your shoulder. It's the perfect throw, and he didn't. He was a nice two ball. I can't understand what Tom Brady. I didn't even know he said that, but that seems a bit bizarre to me.
Well, I'm putting words in Brady's mouth. I'm not saying Brady said it on the record. I'm saying Brady would be disappointed with himself. Overthrown. There was a ton of room there. I'd say he's got to catch it. 95% on the tight end. He's got to catch that ball. There's no question. It was brutal. And then a fade.
Doggy. This is reeks of a non-pro athlete talking now.
No. I have higher standards. That's just
call
the reality.
the segment Pros versus Joes. Like, stop it.
I have higher standards, clearly. Listen, I'm a professional, and I demand greatness. Call it what you want. Maybe I'm too harsh. But the fade route on fourth down, I hate that play call. What a stupid play call. Awful play call.
Also, to kind of piggyback what you just said, Hayes, is they nailed one to Mike Thomas on the drive before that scored. So, again, it's just so much idiocy in this league when it's like, hey, you throw a 50-50 ball, the guy wins. You don't think that, the DBs go off on the side and they're like, hey, what happened? This is what he did. Be careful. He might try and run another fade. So now the 50-50 ball is probably really a 30-70 because they've already seen it once. You got nothing else in the play sheet for a fourth down call to win the game other than let's throw a fade? And my next question, which is even more bizarre, is you're paying Jimmy Graham, my guy, I think a couple schmil. He doesn't play. There's one thing he's there for, to catch the ball in the red zone.
Right.
How is he not in at the end of the game?
Well, that's the Saints, man, in a nutshell. It really is the Saints in a nutshell. It's why they're 3-4. And they're chasing it. And I credit the Jags. I overthought it. I'm like, they're in London for 2 weeks, and then all these different time zones, short week. Lawrence is banged up. Trevor Lawrence, to me, looked like he was 100% last night. He ran for 60 yards. That throw to Kirk.
He looked better than he did with a good knee.
I agree. I thought he looked great last night.
But I will say, all this nonsense, the London, it's this. the reality is, Hayes, this week, as we talked about yesterday, is the separator. It's the week of separation.
Right.
And you've shown your true colors on your first pick.
Okay. All right, well, let's get to the picks then. Let's get to the picks here. Let's see what you guys are made of, because my man Doogie is finally putting an end to the layups. Right? You guys have been on the layup line
let's see it now.
for 6 weeks. The grappler has been bounce passing you guys in the layup road to just basically give winner after winner after winner, and it's finally coming to an end. Doogie's making you hit a half-court shot, and I love it. We'll start with the 1 p.m. window. This is a great game. Your Detroit Lions at the Ravens. Ravens laying 3. The Ravens are a 3-point favorite at home against Detroit. Who are you taking and why?
This is a tough one, Hayes. It's a tough one for me. I bounce back and forth, but I think at the end of the day, I think I'm going to go with the Ravens.
No, you're not, Partsy. I'm sorry. I'm going to step in here. I get it. You're the NFL guy. I got to make a stand.
Separator.
I don't ever. Hey, it is a separator.
Separating weekend.
You got to give this one to me. I'm sorry. I got to take control. I've sat in the sidelines too long. I want the Lions here, and you got to be with me on this pick.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go, Lions! Let's go, Lions! Let's go!
This is it, right,
There
Noodles?
it is.
This is
The
exactly
TSN
what I was
turning
waiting
point.
for.
You know what? I'll wear it. If this thing tanks, Pardsy, I got a feeling about Lamar. People are pumping it up a little bit too much. I think it might be a little bit overrated, the offense. I like the Lions here. Buy into it with me, Pards. Buy into it with me.
You know what? Like I said, I was back and forth. I couldn't agree more with you, dog.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, let's go. We love the Lions.
He's playing hero ball. He's not on it right now. They're dropping balls. It's going to be a mess. The Lions, if they don't turn the ball over, the Lions win this bad boy. We're restoring the roar. Or O-Dog said so.
Okay. Listen, it's a decent pick. What I will say is John Harbaugh at home against Dan Campbell. I'll take Harbaugh all day. Jerry Goff on the road.
Don't let him sway you.
No, it's all good, man. Listen, I'm not too worried about it. I think this is a bigger statement for the Ravens. The Lions look at their division. They know they're home free. They're 5-1. They've been thoroughly impressive. That O-line is phenomenal. They win in the trenches. Their defensive line is phenomenal. But you paid Lamar Jackson big money for games like this at home to go stud. And I think that's exactly what he does. And Harbaugh dances circles around Campbell this week, circles around him.
I think the days are over of just saying he's a goon.
No,
okay?
Listen, I got to give them credit. Like I'm joking mostly about Campbell, but they're legit. Like they are a really good football team. They really are. But so is Baltimore. Like Baltimore's a legit team too, and it's a 3-point game. I think the Lions at some point are going to get punched. I think they get punched this weekend. I love it that I'm on the Ravens. And I love that O-Dog is the one that came over the top. Because this is the separator, right, Noodles? This is where it all starts to fall apart. I threw a game last night so that I could set the scene for this. That's exactly why I picked the Saints.
I just want JP to, pull some of the sound here of disagreeing and then having to talk him into it. Because if it goes south, that could fracture the relationship.
Big time.
Right there.
Ravens 38-7. It'll be a blowout, and this guy will be AWOL. All right.
It ain't happening.
All right. This game in the afternoon, Chargers-Chiefs. Battle of the AFC West. Chiefs laying 5.5 at home.
This is a slam dunk, dude.
Well,
come on.
This is, and I know everyone's going to say slam dunk.
I'm going to talk to Doogie.
Yeah.
This is the biggest layup of the week.
That is completely inappropriate, and leave Doogie out of it because he hasn't slept all week. He's been thinking about these games. Right? Doogie is on top of it, and Doogie called Andy Reid personally and asked him how he feels about us playing this game. That's the kind of connections Doogie has.
Okay, why didn't you just get rid of there's no suspension. You're taking the Chiefs.
No, I'm not. I'm taking the Chargers. I will take the points. I'm taking the Chargers. The LA Chargers have a history of going into Arrowhead and not just covering, winning ball games. I think this is a shootout. The Chiefs have been good. They've been very good, but they haven't been thoroughly impressive in terms of blowing out teams. Chargers just got embarrassed at home coming off a bye against the Cowboys. I think they hit the road here. I think last week was almost a trap game because they were circling this game coming out of the bye. This is a massive, massive game for the Chargers. I could see the Chiefs winning, but I think it's a field goal game. You're giving me 5.5 within the division. Chargers show up at Arrowhead. Everyone knows it. My man, one of the biggest celebrities in L.A., shows up to play, Justin Herbert. Dude, I'll take the Chargers plus
Hayes & Co. is a fraud.
Partsy, please stop laughing and have a response to those comments.
Okay, so, dog, you gotta understand who we're dealing with here.
I know.
It's a sucker pick right there, and everything he said, it's just so traditional. But what he's failing to remember here about these previous games against the Chiefs is that the Chiefs has always had a middle-of-the-road defense. This year, they no longer have that middle-of-the-road defense, and we saw the Chargers puke all over themselves against the Cowboys defense. And right now, Spagnuolo is going to have this KC defense going bonkers with pressure. They have terrible fundamentals, no attention to detail, talking about the Chargers offense. They'll probably turn the ball over twice. Mike Williams is done for the year. And at some point, Kelsey and Mahomes and this Chiefs offense are going to find their rhythm, and they got their boy McCole Hardman back. This has the making to be a 45-7 thumping. The fact that this man didn't take the Chiefs is unbelievable.
It is a little bit concerning that I went Cowboys-Niners. It's got a similar vibe where I thought the Cowboys would roll in there and show up and play. They did not. They got rolled. And I'll grant you what you're saying about the Chiefs' defense, but their offense has not been overly impressive. They've squeaked by wins, and I think they squeaked by another one here. I think within the division, you know what? You always say it's Seahawks and Rams. It doesn't matter about fundamentals. It doesn't matter how teams are playing or how they're feeling in that moment. It's simply about history. It's about the division. It's about coaches going up against each other. I love the Chargers, covering 5.5. Okay, Sunday Nighter. Here it is. Doogie didn't even have to do anything here because it's just naturally the game you got to pick. But Eagles minus 2.5 at home against the Miami Dolphins. What a game. Couldn't ask for a better Sunday Nighter at this point in the season. And it's your game. Who do you like and why?
Who we like is... Partsy, go ahead.
Talk to me, O-Dog. No, O-Dog, talk to me, man. He's on it right now.
All right. Here it is.
I love this. I love it.
And Partsy, you can agree with me or not because I'll let you go with this one. You can either say, O-Dog, I'm on it with you, or we're flipping it. A guy like Hayesy-B would be all impressed with the flash and dash of the Miami Dolphins. The touchdowns. Tua Tagovailoa, he loves it. Tyreek Hill running around and doing dances and grabbing phones. He would get caught up in that and take the Dolphins. But Lukey, we have been in the trenches and we know what physicality means. And we know that physicality dominates and win big games. We are going to roll with the Eagles. The Eagles.
I could not have said it better myself, Partsy.
Sickening.
Yes.
The Dolphins, they beat nobody. They do not have one good win yet. In the time they played a team that had a little bit of a stiff backbone, the Buffalo Bills, they got smacked. Also, everybody thinks Tua's this high-flying, pocket-passing, 300 yards a game guy. He needs a run game. And you know who's going to have an answer for the run game? Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. The Eagles are able to shut down this run game and make Tua become one-dimensional. This bad boy is going Eagles all day, and I don't want to hear a peep, Hayes, about the Eagles' offense not being good because they're loaded at every single position, and they will show us Sunday night why this team is probably going to be right back in the Super Bowl or at least in the NFC Championship against the 49ers.
Okay.
Bam!
Well, listen, I think they're a good team, and refresh my memory. Who did they lose to last week? Who did they lose to again? They lost to a team. Lost to a team we goof on a lot. I can't remember who it was. It doesn't matter. But the Dolphins, you mentioned, you might get caught up with guys like Tua and guys like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, among others. You know why we would be caught up with guys like that? Because have you seen the secondary in Philly? It's basically Doogie and JP trying to cover these cats. And when Tyreek Hill is catching balls in the wide open field, that guy is going to take it to the house, and even Al Michaels will know that he's crossing that goal line.
Doogie and JP will scratch eyeballs out. They will scratch eyeballs out.
JP and Doogie, they're 15 yards off the ball. They have no idea what they're doing in Philly right now. That Mike McDaniel is going to cook up a game plan that is going to have people absolutely bedridden on Monday. They won't be able to sleep. They'll be absolutely freaking out. I'm fine with taking the Dolphins because you're right. They haven't beat anyone substantial. I think that might change.
Well, I just got some information from one of my best buddies who knows the game very well, and he just texted me and said, I like the Dolphins and Chargers to cover.
Yes.
I'm with Hayes this week.
See, that's a smart man.
And then he writes, O-Dog is, and he goes, he used the F word, is F-U, you know what?
Yes.
So let's see. They might be in trouble. I don't know.
This is the turning point. Your buddy knows exactly what he's talking about.
My guy Bobo knows. He knows what's going on.
He's a smart man.
I'm telling you right now. So let's see how this unfolds, though.
Yes. Okay, we'll circle back with Bobo on Monday.
Yeah, we might.
Get him to text. Get him to text.
Okay, Bobo. We'll tell him to put his money where his mouth is. There for sure.
I'll just Bobo. If it goes my way, I want his number, and I'll float him a text.
Hey, here's
my question. Is your boy sober at the moment? Because that's ridiculous. The Dolphins are not covering.
Well, he's an Edmonton boy, so it's an Edmonton. It's 50-50, put it that way.
4:20 on a Friday night.
Yeah, exactly. Right he might be. Who knows?
Okay. He probably thinks they're playing the Elks. It's the Dolphins versus the Elks tonight.
Exactly.
But it's all good. All right, the picks are in. There it is. There's no turning back. Look at this guy going over the top. The president of the team
it's called
smacking
leadership.
Around his GM. That's disappointing to see. Disappointing. It says a lot about your team culture that you would treat your staff.
You know what? We trust each other.
I don't think it's ever been better.
Yeah. Okay. I make a pick and he has confidence in me. See how he jumps on board with me?
Yeah.
That's a team. That's a team.
Sure. All right. That's house league rules. Everyone gets a turn. That's what that is. House league
participation
rules for a house league team. That's what it is.
All right, Bryan Carr. Bryan Carr.
Yeah, I threw that ball perfectly. It wasn't my fault last night.
Oh, yeah.
You guys both said it.
You suck. You yell at people and you suck.
Perfectly last night, and I take the blame when I need to. Derek Carr, he never blames other people.
Luke,
ever.
One last thing, Luke, before we get you out of here. Why does a team like Jacksonville takes the lead, and then they go on defense, and then they just say, go ahead and march down the field and get to the goal line? Why the hell do they do that? It drives me nuts, man.
Oh, dog, honest to God, in playing, I think I had 100 games in this league, I have no answer for that question. And you see it all the time, and it makes me want to pull out all of my hair. Like, where is the killer instinct? The moment they had that pick six, it got them to 24-9, you could feel it through the television. They're like, we'll sit back. We've won this bad boy. And the next thing you know, it's a tie game. And that's why it's like the best teams in this league, when they get up 24-9, you know what they do? They put their foot on the gas even harder to just flat out embarrass teams.
Yeah, but I was more referring to the end of the game where it's just like, hurry up offense, but it's like 15 yards of play. How is it so easy? It drives me nuts.
I think these guys get so worried about being safe that, it ends up being, okay, we don't want to get beat deep. I don't want to be the guy that, calls the play where one of my guys in a one-on-one and loses, a 50-50 ball. So I'm going to protect all the players and let everything happen underneath, and we'll make a play in the red zone. But to me, it's a momentum swing. Like you said, all of a sudden you go from Derek Carr, who can't complete a pass other than a check down to save his life, to completely, ripping 50-yard bombs or 50-yard drives in 3 plays. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. Yep, it's crazy. But listen, that's the NFL in a nutshell, man. It's not going to change this weekend. The picks are in. Everyone's buzzing. Bobo out in Edmonton, he just can't contain himself. He can't believe what he's hearing on the show.
Bobo's fired up.
Bobo,
he's creamed right now. He's creamed.
Bobo thinks he's watching, who knows what he thinks he's watching.
The Blue
NFL
Bombers.
Live right now. He thinks he's texting Mina Kimes. Meanwhile, he's actually texting you. He has no idea what's happening. But it's all good.
I love it.
All right, Luke. Good luck this weekend, man. I can't wait to see how this one plays out.
See you Monday, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. There he is, Luke Willson. TSN 1050's Leaf lineup is your chance to win Leaf tickets every week, all season long, every weekday. We'll announce a current or former Maple Leaf player And on Fridays, you'll have a chance to call in, name the Leaf lineup of the week. You name all the players in the lineup, you can score a pair of tickets to an upcoming game. This week, we're giving away Leafs Kings, Halloween night, October 31st. Your final player of the week, one of our favorites, Steve Thomas, Stumpy Thomas.
Oh,
Stumpy Thomas is your player of the day. This week, again, we're giving away a pair of tickets. Leafs Kings. Phone lines are open. 416-870-1050. 416-870-1050. First one in to name all 5 players from the week. You're going to see Leafs Kings October 31st. Dear Hayesy-B still to come. Best Bets brought to you by FanDuel still to come. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.
Insight, the ability to see and understand why you do the things you do.
Dear Hayesy-B.
We're going to go down there and have a donkey barbecue, and I'm going to furnish the ass, right?
You don't want to hide a Mars bar in your sleeping bag when there's a bear outside the tent.
You guys know the routine, and it's nice to be at a certain point where people are giving us feedback on what we have recommended, the results, not listening to us. Hayesy-B said, do not go on that golf trip to Manitoba, and he went.
he did.
I got to give him credit. And I didn't see that coming. He had just been married, I believe, on the Saturday. They were flying out to Manitoba on the Monday.
Giving birth soon. Insane.
Yeah, there was a lot on that guy's plate, and I told him you might want to ease off, and he decided to completely ignore that advice and floor it in Manitoba, of all places. But shout out.
Speaking of floor it, our first one, the father-in-law floors it. Dear Hayesy-B, I lucked out with my father-in-law, awesome guy and a scratch golfer.
Ooh.
His name is Roger, and you guys were right about guys with that name. We are always paired together in club matches and money games. His move is a pack of cigs, and he fills a Gatorade bottle up with half Jameson, half with Coke. Oh. He is half cut on 5T like clockwork. I've noticed when the booze kicks in, he's done some greasy things in the woods. Fluffing, moving, and even one phantom drop. I love the guy, but what do? I can't keep playing serious matches.
Yeah, it's something I admit I have learned over the years, and I have changed my approach personally. I used to play golf with my buddies growing up when we were kids. Maybe a preferred lie here or there, maybe a little greasy moment here or there. You just can't do it as you get older. If you're playing with other people, I think
he knows this, Hazy. He's wanting to know, how does he tell his father-in-law?
Well, that's the problem. Is I don't think you can. So what you need to do is orchestrate a sting operation where you are going to play an event with other people and you need them to be like, hey, Roger, I got you down here as a 5. I saw you take a drop. There's someone else has to bring it up. Just a quick, stern comment like, sorry, Raj, you just picked your ball up there. What the hell do you think you're doing, Because I've seen that kind of funky activity happen during, serious matches where guys give it the old, I thought free drop. No, not free drop. That's going to cost you. And once the message gets across, Roger will realize funny business can't happen anymore because he's embarrassing you as well by extension. If you're playing in real matches here, you got money on the line. You got to show some integrity, man. You can't do it in golf. Can't do it.
I think you just got to say to him, I don't know why you're drinking the booze. Are you calming the nerves, what you're doing? Mm-hmm. But it's leading you to make some poor decisions out in the golf course, and I don't want to be associated with it.
Exactly. You're right. You got a reputation to uphold here. If you're playing matches, you're playing real events, you got to be on the up and up. Come on now. Figure it out.
This one was sent to Doogie, and in confidence, we are not sharing the name.
Okay.
Because it's greasy. And actually, Doogie being a young buck, I would like him, when you two are done, to weigh in on this as well. Because this one is off the charts in a doozy.
Wow. Okay. All
Dear
right.
Hayesy-B.
Dear Doogie. Dear Doogie P.
Yeah.
Like
Dear Doogie P. Please do not reveal my name because this one is a doozy, and I don't want to sewer myself. I've recently started dating this awesome girl, and things are progressing positively and moving in the right direction. I recently went to Thanksgiving at her parents', with other relatives present as well. At dinner, I noticed some eyeballs on me, and it was more than a casual look. It was her aunt.
Ooh.
I shrugged it off, maybe some booze during the festivities. 2 days after dinner, I got a DM from the aunt saying she lives in my hood. Let's grab a coffee at some point. FYI, she's an 11 out of 10.
Whoa.
What do I do? Doogie P?
Dear Doogie P.
Doogie, I don't even know if Doogie has the chops to handle this.
I don't think he's qualified for that. I think Doogie would absolutely buckle and turn off his DMs. Personally, I don't know if Doogie could handle that kind of
Before the professionals get involved here, Doogie, do you have any insight on what the move is here?
This is a tough go, guys. This is tough, but I don't know if I'd answer that DM. I'm a pride guy. I'm a nice guy. You gotta be even keel here, so I can't dip into that DM.
Okay, so would you block? Like, would it be a full blocking, or would there be a response that makes it incredibly awkward in the future?
I think there have to be a response saying this is not it. This is not the interest right now. There has to be a response, not a clean block. What happens if you see her?
Well, I mean, listen, it's going to be awkward either way, Doogie. Basically, if she's sending a vibe out and saying, like, a coffee, come on. There's no coffee. And if there wasn't a suggestion, hey, make sure you bring my niece with you for the coffee, then this is a complete green light special.
Yeah.
And you need to make your decision before you even answer. It's either a block or a thumbs up. Meet me at Starbucks at 6 p.m. tonight. You know, there's two options here.
What if it is just a coffee, guys? You guys have like a version
that was
of
not the way it was intimated. In the way he said he caught some eyes, and then all of a sudden 2 days later there was a DM. Who sends a DM for a coffee? I'm not sure I'm buying that.
Well, I've got one question: is how long have they been together? Because
doesn't sound like long, girls, but enough to be at the Thanksgiving dinner, though. Like, that's pretty serious.
Yeah, it
stuff.
sounds like this was one of the first dinners, and he all of a sudden is getting eyeballs. But maybe it is just a coffee. I don't think you can go down the road where there's potential monkey business involved here, unless you, Hayesy-B, are reading coffee into a whole nother level.
Can you read read the last line one more time?
She's at 11 out of 10.
Yes. What do you think this guy is thinking right now? Like, I think it's. Go ahead, Noodles.
Joe from the bridge just wrote "coffee at Perkins?" ? Perkins
Diner. That's the old Tiger routine. You know what Tiger's response would have been 15 years ago.
The last line is, FYI, she's an 11 out of 10. Yeah. What do I do, Hayesy-B?
Honestly, you got to make it. This is where I can't help you because I don't know how everything's going on in your life and what kind of, how your approach would be to all this kind of stuff. But what I would say is, if you really like this woman you're seeing, really like her, it's all good. I think it's got to be an ignore. It's not a block because a block is too much, but you pull the ignore, you don't respond, and then you play dumb in the future if anything's ever comes up. You just say, I never checked my DMs. I didn't even know I had them. I didn't,
Yeah.
You got to play
but
ignorant.
The question is, are you going to rat the ant out?
No, you're not, because if things go south in 6 months, you know what this guy's doing?
You circle back on that DM.
He's right back in the
No,
DMs.
you are not.
Yes, you
are.
Absolutely are.
If things go south with that, you are absolutely you're returning that DM to the ant for sure.
6 months later, there's got to be a statute of limitations on that.
Guys, get serious. You're not doing that. You just say, "Don't ever message me again." It's disgusting.
That's fair.
Don't talk like that.
Disgusting. I thought it was just coffee. Where's your head on?
Yeah, I don't know, but the way you guys are saying burn rubber and squeal the tires back there.
No, I'm saying don't respond. I'm saying I would give it a non-response, play ignorant because it's going to be awkward. Unless it really is just, hey, I wanted to get together because that could, it feels like a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode.
It could be, hey, I do live in the hood. I grab coffee down the street. If you're there, great.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Hey, I wanted to tell you some stuff about my niece. She's my favorite niece, and we're throwing a surprise party for, or something like that. That is possible.
Probably
it's definitely
not, though.
But it's it's probably.
I say you ignore it and you move on with life. And if things go south, then you're single and you can do whatever you want.
Maybe a circle back with an eyes emoji in 6 months. Maybe a handshake emoji. Who knows?
Yeah.
Coffee emoji. Right?
Dear Hayesy-B, flying into the Niagara for a family reunion this weekend. The boys have been told they are allowed 1 round of golf. How do we get the wives open up to a couple of more rounds? Bonus question, any course recommendations?
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with courses down there. I've played, which one have I played? I played one down there. It was really nice. One like Grand Niagara or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. Good spot, really good spot. There's a couple of good tracks. I don't know. I don't know how you push your limits here because of the weather. That's something you really got to take into consideration here. There's a very good chance the weather's going to go south anyway, and you're not going to be able to play. But you've already pissed everyone off because you've been pushing to play. So you really got to play your cards right here. I think you play the round, you come back, you say it was amazing, we had a blast, there's this other spot. You try to lay some seeds down for, hey, maybe tomorrow we'll try to get back out. But you don't want to push your limits too far here. This deep into the season, when there's a good chance there'll be a frost delay, rain, cold, you won't play anyway. So I think you take your round, you floor it in Niagara. Beyond that, it's all good. It's all good.
I think you can also... You can send the girls to the casino and stuff too. There's some things to do.
A lot of stuff to do down in Niagara.
You treat them and then you find a way to get out on the course.
Well, they might have their own plans, thinking, who do these guys think they are? Like we're not running things by you.
Stuff down there too, isn't there?
We're doing our own things.
Yeah,
exactly. All right.
I think you have to really monitor the weather because if it's garbage out and you're begging for more golf, they're going to say, what do you guys think you're up to here? Enough's enough.
Yeah.
So
just play your round and go have a good time.
Yes. But they're still going to be pissed if you're asking for more golf because they don't want you to golf. They want you to have fun, do the wine tours. Dear Hayesy-B, my good buddy Jack likes to get around a lot. That's fine and all, but recently he started dating my cousin, who also happened to be very close with. Knowing Jack and his prowess, I'm concerned my cousin doesn't know what she's getting into with him. Do I give her a heads up? Do I talk to Jack about my concern, or do I sit back, mind my own business, and watch a disaster unfold?
I don't. This is a tough one. I'm not really sure how to handle that because I think, Ty goes to your cousin for sure, right?
You got to tell the cousin he's a greaseball.
Yeah. I think that's totally reasonable, and that should be the play. But then beyond that, you were talking about adults here. These are adults. They get to make their own decision. You can't push. You can't pry. You can't be overbearing. It's just, hey, this is just a little bit of stuff that's going on behind the curtains. What I've been privy to, I just want you to give you a heads up. Once that heads up is out there, then it goes wherever it's going to go, right? I think that's reasonable. Ty goes with a cousin, for sure.
Yeah.
Ty goes with a cousin. Details, and then it's in her court, and they can go and do whatever they want to do. They're grown adults, right? We're dealing with adult problems here. That's what we do at Dear Hayesy-B and Dear Doogie P.
These are tougher ones. These are tougher ones.
These are really greasy.
Deep, tough ones.
Yeah, these are starting into treading into areas where now you're thinking twice about it because it's, you're giving advice to either be greasy or not, like that type of stuff.
So tough
we got one last golf. We have time for one last golf one.
All right.
Dear Hayesy-B, 11 buddies and I do a Ryder Cup style event every year. It's turned into older gents versus the young bucks. The young bucks get dusted because we always get gooned the night of the event no matter what, and then we proceed to get worked on the course for 2 days because we're in rough shape. We always save face on day 3 in singles after we've recovered. Can we tell our team captain we need a team event 2 days prior for a full send and get it out of our system before this event starts? Captain doesn't like it. Is this grounds for a serious sit-down with our leader?
Well, I'd love to know what these people do for a living. Like, you're just going to floor it for 5 or 6 days straight before a Ryder Cup?
How about not getting hammered the night before the event?
That's probably the play. Why not switch it around? Because I can see what's going to happen here. Everyone's having a good time, and I'm sure after dinner, some of the older guys are like, I'm going to go shut the mill down, and I'm going low tomorrow. And these guys end up taking it deep, and then they're disasters on the first tee, and they're chasing the whole tournament. If anything, take it easy, the first couple nights, maybe floor it the last one. You're going to be good by the end of the weekend anyway, right? And maybe you put yourself in a position where you're so many points up, even if you give away a few matches that you normally wouldn't, you're still going to win the Ryder Cup. So try to reverse. I get it. It's tough. We've all been that night. We've all been there. Night one, the adrenaline's running. Everyone's jacked. Everyone's having a good time. It's just you got to pump the brakes a little bit. But I can tell you this. I don't know how young these guys are, but there's no getting it out of your system 2 or 3 nights before, right? Because then you're going to reset and be totally fine by the first night anyway, and you're going to do it again.
I realized a long time ago, I would always say to guys on a golf trip, what is this trip about? Is it golf or is it drinking?
Right.
Because if we're going to drink, don't expect good golf.
Yes. That is 100% valid. Yeah, 100%
so just
valid.
make your pick. If you want to booze with your buddies, it's not about the golf. So you have to decide that as your team.
100%.
That's
100%. Quickly, a follow-up on the Ant direct message. Nate tweeting in with a great question. How do you not consider that this is maybe a kind of a setup to see where this guy's at? That's why it's a full no response. I'm telling you, you don't go down that road. You're happy. You know, this woman you're dating, she sounds great. You're at the family meal. Let it go. Don't even think about going down that road.
You're right.
Don't even think about it, right?
It is a trap.
In the end, it might just be some coffee. It very well could be, but that's none of your concern. Move past it, all right? There you go. Dear Hayesy-B with the introduction of Dear Doogie P. Dear Doogie. He stepped in with some sound advice. Very sound advice.
Doogie, thanks for your contributions. It was very good. You know your stuff, and you're a man of integrity.
He is a man of integrity. That's become very clear. Doogie, he's got a reputation to uphold, and that's the kind of guy, right? That's the kind of guy that we would expect Doogie to be. Mail-In Fridays are brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. From touchdowns to tie bites and puck drops to pizza, BP's elite lineup of apps, wings, and ice-cold beer is always dialed in for game time. Hustle into your local BP tonight. Got ball games tonight. Got hockey games tonight. Houston up 2-1, top of the 6th. Bases loaded. So Houston in a very good spot again to win down in Texas, which would be wild. That series tied at 2. Game 3 again, currently ongoing. Game 4 of the NLCS is tonight. Arizona against Philly. So we'll tee that up. Tee up the Leafs at Lightning tomorrow. You got Week 7 of the NFL continuing. The great Christine Sinclair announcing her retirement. Michael Bradley retiring as well. He was speaking to the media today. We'll touch on that as well before we get out of here for the weekend. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2. All right, today's Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Looking ahead to Sunday. Bucks, money line. Packers, -1.5. Giants, +2.5. I also like the Bucks on the spread. Bucks -2.5. I could deal with that as well. So you parlay that, Bucks 2.5, Packers 1.5, Giants +2.5. Boom. Love that parlay this weekend. I like the Packers off a bye in Denver. Must win. Must win. Jordan Love's got to have himself a game. Today's Best Bets powered by FanDuel. Same game parlays this NFL season now include passing touchdowns and receptions on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly, 19+, physically located in Ontario. Been a fun one today. We had John Cooper in the 4 p.m. hour. We did our happy rankings of the NHL coaches. We talked about the great Christine Sinclair retiring from the national team. Michael Bradley retiring. Not so happy, though. You can tell there's a lot of bitterness there with Bradley at Toronto FC. You can just tell in his tone, his approach.
Well, he's probably like, thanks, Dad, for putting just a miserable spin on this career here.
Yeah, and probably bitter with the franchise, too, right? Like that his dad had to go as opposed to the players who stink as well. Like the team's been terrible. Right. So he's retiring. He said early in the season he didn't envision himself retiring, but it's been such a tough year, and now he wants to coach.
He's no kid anymore, man. He's been around a long time, and I'm pretty sure MLSE gave him a boatload of money.
He made a fortune up here, and he was a great player. Arguably greatest player in franchise history, or one of the most important ones, for sure. One of the 2 or 3 greats in Toronto FC history, and was a big part of why they were so successful for so many years. But it's been a fun one. Mail-In Fridays brought to you by Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. From touchdowns to tie bites and puck drops to pizza, BP's elite lineup of apps, wings, and ice-cold beer. Always dialed in for game time. Hustle into your local BP tonight. It's a good weekend for Boston Pizza. It always is a good
is.
weekend, right? Football on Sunday. Leafs Lightning tomorrow night. Looking forward to that game. Very much looking forward to that game. So, it's going to be a fun weekend.
Let's see if we can get some Canadian coaches smiling come Monday.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a good idea. Yeah, I'm not sure it's going to happen, but that is a good idea, right? We're a week and a half into the season. Let's turn things around.
We might be able
here
to circle back on the Canadian coaches' happy meter maybe every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think it's pretty quick. I think it's every 2 weeks. Probably we could do it. I think we will.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes. We appreciate all the help. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, podcast, radio, web. We appreciate that. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy your weekends. We're back Monday at
Doogie P for life, 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.